How's it going today, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day so far. So in this video today, I'm going to be answering one of the questions that I've been getting on almost a weekly basis for the last 2 years. And I apologize it's taken me this long to make this video. But what we're going to be talking about today is how to invest in the US stock market when you are from outside of the United States. So I know that when you make videos on YouTube, it is a global audience, and a lot of my viewers are actually not even from the United States, and you may decide that you want to participate in the US stock market. Well, I'm going to show you guys 3 different brokerages out there that may allow you to do this. And we're going to go through some pros and cons of each method because some are definitely better than other options out there. And if you do decide at the end of this video that you want to sign up for one of these different brokerage accounts, I've included links in the description below. I am affiliated with First Trade. That is one of the options that I discuss in this video. The other 2 I have no affiliation with, but if you do decide to use my affiliate link, it's totally optional, but it is a way to give back to me for putting this video together at no additional cost to you. So your use of that link is definitely appreciated, but never required. So starting off with number 1 here, my number 1 choice for investing in stocks when outside of the US is going to be going with First Trade. Now, First Trade is the top of my list for a number of different reasons that we're going to get into in a little bit here. But essentially, First Trade is a zero commission brokerage out there that has a $0 minimum account balance as well. And they allow a number of different countries to participate in the US stock market. So if your country is on this list of approved countries for First Trade, you can open up a brokerage account with them without being a permanent US resident or a resident of US at all, and you also do not need a social security number or tax identification number. Now, the list of approved countries is definitely a little bit limited, but this is because of tax reasons at the end of the day. If you're investing in the US market as a non-US investor, there are definitely tax implications associated with that, and there are only certain companies where they have participation agreements in place for taxation. So the list of approved countries that are allowed to invest in US markets through First Trade include China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, Japan, Mexico, New Zealand, Singapore, South Korea, and Israel. So if you are in one of those approved countries, you can invest in US markets through First Trade. If you're not, you're going to want to hear about option number 2 and option number 3 in a little bit. Now, what's important to note here is that if you are investing through First Trade with an international account, you are actually owning the underlying assets. And if you're a US resident investing in US stocks, you probably have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. But in a little bit here for number 2 and number 3, we're going to have to introduce an investment vehicle known as a CFD, which is entirely different than owning an actual stock itself. But if you are investing through First Trade and you're on one of those approved countries, you are owning the underlying assets themselves and you are not purchasing what is called a CFD. So option number 2 is a very popular trading app that allows you to trade cryptocurrencies, Forex, stocks, bonds, ETFs, all kinds of things of that nature, known as eToro. Now, eToro is not allowed in the United States, again, due to tax reasons and different reasons of that nature, possibly regulation issues as well, which we're going to get into in a little bit here. Now, if you're from outside of the US, they participate with about 60 different countries. It's too many for me to list in this video, but they have many helpful resources on their website that tell you what countries they are allowed to participate with. But there is a huge difference with using eToro versus First Trade, and that is that when you buy stocks on that platform, you don't actually own the underlying asset. Instead, what you're purchasing is something called a CFD. And a CFD is known as a contract for difference. And again, this means that there is no ownership of the underlying asset, in this case, the stock. Essentially, what you're purchasing is something called a derivative, and this is a type of speculative investment vehicle. So essentially, the price of the CFD is derived from the underlying price of that stock, but you have no underlying ownership of the actual stock itself. So there are many risks associated with trading CFDs that you need to be familiar with. In fact, according to an Investopedia article about CFDs, 66% of people who buy CFDs or trade them end up losing money. So you want to be familiar with what they are and have a good understanding of them before you trade CFDs on any platform like eToro. So it goes without saying, guys, CFDs should be considered a pure speculation. Personally, I would not recommend investing in them. If you do decide to, make sure you do your research and due diligence and have a good understanding of derivatives and the type of risk involved with that type of speculation. But that being said, you are able to trade ETFs, cryptos, Forex, stocks through CFDs in over 60 countries through the eToro platform. And then third and finally on the list here, we have a rapidly growing brokerage platform from the United Kingdom known as DJRow. Now, DJRow is a little bit different than eToro because based on what country you are in some cases you are buying the underlying stocks themselves, and in other countries you are buying what is called the CFD, which we just discussed with option number 2. So before you go out there and invest with DJRow, you want to make sure you're actually purchasing the underlying stocks if that's what you are aiming to do. If you're comfortable with the risks associated with CFDs and you want to trade them, that's entirely your decision. Now, DJRow participates with 18 different countries right now, and each country has a country-specific website. So if they do participate with your country, I would definitely recommend clicking on that country-specific website, doing some more research and understanding whether or not you are trading actual stocks where you own the underlying asset, or are you simply trading these CFDs. But anyways, guys, those are 3 different options you have in front of you for investing in the US stock market when you're outside of the US. And again, the reason why you can't just open up a traditional brokerage account with one of these mainstream US brokerages is because of issues with regulation and primarily taxation. But there's a couple of options there. Obviously, I would definitely recommend First Trade if you are in fact in one of those countries they participate with. And the other 2 options there, I would personally not get involved with CFDs, but if you understand the risks involved and you're comfortable with it, that's entirely up to you. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.